Hi, I'm Sharon, and welcome to Machu Picchu.
It's time to wander the world with Sharon. Enjoy this Big Blend radio podcast featuring award-winning travel writer and photographer Sharon K. Kurtz. Welcome, everybody. Today, Sharon is taking us on a wander around the world experience to Peru. She went to Lake Titicaca. She went to Cusco. She went to Machu Picchu. She had really immersive experiences, which is so exciting. Her article is up on nationalparktraveling.com, so you can see it there. Just type in Peru or just look in the show notes because you can link through to her website as well to keep up with all her travels. But she did this journey, and it is a journey. I mean, this is quite an epic adventure. She did this through intrepid travel, and from what I'm reading and seeing in her photos, wow, this is beyond like a touristy bucket list thing. This is the immersion thing. That to me just sounds like a true experience that touches your soul and your heart. And but then you're in the Andes with this beauty, incredible beauty. So I
It
mean,
was.
were you kind of mind blown getting there and actually seeing it beyond the pictures?
You
And
know, it's been in my mind since I was a little girl. You see that image, and then when you actually get there, you climb up. You already the altitude is high, and then you get there, but you have to climb up these uneven big stone steps until you get to this area that opens up, and you just go, you just take your breath in. It's just
wow.
magnificent.
Wow. Wow. So let's talk about the altitude because I know the last time you were on the show, you were mentioning that you're going to be careful about it because the altitude is something for all of us travelers to look at. Any tips for people going there for the first time?
Oh, honey, let me tell you, I was nervous about it. I put off this trip until now because when I was in college, from Texas, we went skiing in Colorado, and I was in bed for 2 days from Colorado
Oh,
Heights with
oh,
altitude
wow.
sickness. You know, a terrible headache. I couldn't get out of bed, and so I thought this would really be bad. But you have to drink a whole lot of water. I went to the doctor and I got a medication called Diamox. You just take it for a few days and it helps you get up there. Then you take it easy for a few days because Cusco was 11,000 plus high. And that is a huge difference
Mhm.
in Texas. So I did just fine. And then they have coca tea. Now, let me tell you, coca tea is they revere coca leaves. They
Mhm.
use it in ceremonies. It's been around since the early Inca days, but sure enough, in your hotel lobbies, they have a jar full of dried leaves and water, and you make yourself coca tea. Doesn't taste like much. It's kind of tastes like it's kind of like a sandy colored water with a tiny bit of an herbal taste, but it gives you energy and it helps you.
Okay, so because I think the coca opens up your vessels, because like I get asthmatic, and if I have
Uh,
coffee, it opens up your airways or Coke, actually a Coca-Cola. Like if you ever get breathy or can't you feel yourself short of breath, drink something with caffeine because it opens up your airways, opens up your blood vessels, and your oxygen goes through your body better. So I wonder if that's the same kind of
I
thing with
think it
this.
is. And then they do have oxygen canisters. You can literally buy them at the convenience store down the street. But I did not have to do that, but that is
Right.
for people that need it.
So let's touch on intrepid travel and I know you stayed in Cusco first for a couple days before
Yes.
you went out exploring and going up to Machu Picchu. And I mean, you went to the incredible valley, the Sacred Valley,
Yes.
and met the locals for sure. But the intrepid travel, this kind of experience is a little bit different than your regular tours.
I am so high on Intrepid Travel. It is one of the biggest adventure tour companies in the world.
Okay.
And they're known for their community-based experiences where you immerse yourself in the community. You don't just travel as a tourist. You become, they give you experiences that you would never have any other way. And it's really, so they even have a foundation called the Intrepid Foundation, and it's um, they support local communities wherever they travel to. And it really is, they're small group tours. Ours was a press tour with journalists. We had 8 of us, 2 Aussies, 2 from England, and a Canadian, and some Americans. So we were from all over the world.
That's awesome. So
And
that's a nice connection, but then at the same time, they connected you with the people in the communities, right? Through
right.
their
So
foundation.
what we did was we followed the track of what they called their 9-day classic Peru tour, where you would start in Cusco, you would go to the Sacred Valley, you would go to Machu Picchu, you would spend 2 days living in a home situation, a homestay on Lake Titicaca. So we
That's
kind of
amazing.
mimicked that so we could write about it and tell people how it is to experience it. But yeah,
Wow.
only 10 people maybe around. So it's nice in small groups.
So what was it like staying in somebody else's house?
Well, it was really fun. It was called a homestay, and Intrepid does this around the world quite often, but ours was with a community, indigenous people's community called Lashon that live on the shores of Lake Titicaca. And so Intrepid found this community and started talking with them, and they began a partnership where the community they get trained how to have travelers in their home, how to prepare for that, how to have cleanliness and personal space and all, and how to prepare meals. And then they get paid for that. So it's a way for them to
Okay.
earn money, and it's a way for us to learn, have a cultural experience.
Oh, wow. So you're eating food with the family, right?
Yes,
And you get to see them cook it and things like that?
yes. And we even get to help. Like an art tour was
Hmm.
a little shortened from a normal tour, but we actually, in the morning, all these communities, they have their own traditional dress. They all look unique to each other, and they make them themselves. They weave the wool and embroider the things.
Oh, wow.
And each community is different. So the first thing we did on our morning we woke up is we all get to dress a native dress. We looked comical. We had our skirts on and our hats on, and the men had ponchos on. And then we had a ceremony where they are agricultural on the shore of Lake Titicaca. So they raise potatoes. And so we went to the potato patch, but first we had to give thanks to the gods for a good harvest. So it involves coca leaves. You have a circle and a fire, and
Hmm.
you get your coca leaves, and you wish for a good harvest and wish them away. And then he puts those coca leaves in the fire, all of us collectively. And then if the fire burns white, that means that the gods have agreed and you're going to have a good harvest. And then we all got shovels and dug potatoes.
Oh, wow. How cool
At
is that?
11,000 square feet, at 11,000 feet above sea level.
That's amazing. This is
Yeah,
amazing. And so that is an immersive, so now you're understanding. And what was the lake like? Did it feel like you're at the beach?
it's huge, and it's like a mirror, and it's very, very large. The highest navigable lake in the world. It's 11,000 some square, I keep saying square, miles,
Mhm.
feet
Hi. Yeah. Hi.
above sea level. So it is beautiful. The view, these people, this community, they live right on the shore, and they get up in the morning, and how could you not have a wonderful morning when you look out at that view every day?
Oh, wow. Did you see any bird life or wildlife while you were there at the lake?
Actually, yes, birds, a lot of birds, but we didn't see any fish life. But what else Lake Titicaca is known for are these floating islands.
Mm,
Have these reed islands, that the people have lived there for thousands of years on the lake. They
wow.
build these islands with thatch that they have to replace every day because they keep adding more, and it sinks a little lower. and these reeds underneath are living, so they float. And that gave them autonomy. They could do whatever they liked in their own communities out on the lake. So we went to a few of those communities and we had boat rides. They make boats out of the reeds. They kind of like weave them, and we got to go out
Wow.
on the lake. It was really cool.
Wow. Wow. So would you say this kind of experience is good for women travelers, solo travelers to go with Intrepid Travel to do this kind of
Yes,
experience?
I think one reason why they invited me is because they know that I am a 50 plus woman traveler. I like to travel independently. And you know, most of their travelers, they get their support from women and from women in my age. It is a huge segment of the
Mm,
population that are just ready to travel and will
yeah.
spend money on it. So,
Yeah.
yes, I wouldn't go to Peru by myself. Number one, the language barrier and getting around is difficult, and you need to have a system that's already set up where it promotes the ease of travel, especially for Machu Picchu, because it is so hard to get even a ticket, arrange all your tickets if you're trying to do it yourself.
Oh, this is some good advice. So what was it like going to Machu Picchu? Did you jaw drop?
Oh, it was incredible. It was, we haven't talked about it yet, but they have these communities. And one of the reasons we went to Peru was to meet two local communities. The first is in the Sacred Valley, and they're called the Hillock Weavers. And it was called Hillock Alcho. So we went to meet these 16 weaver ladies, and I made this bracelet.
Oh, wow.
We
You
got
go,
to make our
girl.
own bracelet, and they made a lunch for us, and they taught us how they weave and how they actually spin the wool, the alpaca and the wool, and they make their own garments, and they make garments and accessories to sell to travelers. So I gave all of mine away. I don't have anything to show except for my husband's scarf. So this is alpaca. And
Okay,
one of the
cool.
ladies in the community wove this one, and it's so sad. So this is for my husband.
Nice.
So anyway, the very special thing about our trip was that Intrepid Foundation pairs with local nonprofits, and
Mm.
there is a weaving community called Awamaki that they come to the village where these ladies weave, and they help support them. So
Oh,
together, Awamaki, this is from, like, I think one thing that I bought, and Intrepid Foundation provided this thing. It's never been done before. We took those 16 ladies. Just imagine this. Say you're only an hour, just the closest pueblo to Machu Picchu, they had never been there
huh.
because
Wow.
it's out of reach. It's too expensive. It is not something that it's easy for the locals to do. So none of them had ever been there, and most of them had never been on a train. So we
Wow.
together, Intrepid and Awamaki, the ladies came with us the next day to Machu Picchu for the
That
first
is
time ever.
awesome.
Oh, it was. And the other funny thing was they'd never been on a train, so they were just all agog. And then when we got to Machu Picchu, there's a village at the bottom, and we all went to a buffet for lunch before we went up to the mountain. And you know, they had never been in a restaurant.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow.
And this was a buffet, and there was bottomless desserts.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And they don't eat much sugar. So they were just, their eyes were like this. So the whole day was special. So we got to go to Machu Picchu with the local
Hmm.
mamas, and we all got to experience it together.
And was language barrier wise, was there someone there that could help interpret so you could have these conversations with these women and find commonalities even?
Yes. So our guide, Intrepid always has a local guide. Ours was Norma Collier, and she speaks Quechua. That is the local Inca language from thousands of years back. And the ladies from the weaving community, that's what they speak. So they also speak a spattering of Spanish. So
Hmm.
we had Norma that helped us, and then the Awamaki not-for-profit had their own person there to help translate for us. But we actually, with translators, we were just talking like this with the ladies.
That's
It was
awesome.
really fun.
Isn't that nice to, I think that's the real kind of travel when you can have those true cultural experiences and bond. It makes you feel like the world is a little bit nicer than what we see on the news. You
Yes.
know, you see so much hatred and obviously fighting and war, but when you're in those moments, you're like, okay, we could do this. We could have peace on earth. Did you feel
Yes.
that way when you were there with them?
So since we were all journalists, we had a moment toward the end when two ladies came in with us to our enclosure where we had our group lunch together, and we asked them to talk with us with translators right there. And in their own words, they shared what this meant to them to go to Machu Picchu. And Justina, she just broke my heart. She said, I've always, ever since I came to the community as an orphan, and I
Oh,
saw visitors coming, and I always wanted to go to Machu Picchu just like them or with them and sit and talk with them and be in the place of my ancestors and ride
oh.
in a train. And she was like tearing up. So that was very special.
Oh man, that's really cool though. And the colors, I mean, the weaving that the colors are vibrant, you know? It's
Yes,
so cool. It kind of reminds me of Africa, with
yes,
the kind of that kind of feeling. Because even when we lived there, I remember at one time, our housemaid had never been to the ocean. And so we took her to the beach. And I remember her sitting there like highball. She would say like she was like in awe of it, but also scared of it because there's all kinds of lore that goes with it too. There's all kinds of, and then some, people actually drink seawater
yeah.
to, it's like a healing thing. And I'm
Um,
like, no, you don't want to do that. But she was pretty, and also the same thing, staying in a hotel that was not, she was not having it. It was just also a different era. So we're still in colonial times back then,
yes.
so it was a very touchy thing that we did. And um yeah, that was some cultural like eyebrow raising things
Well,
that happened with
these
that.
these local mamas were like expert master weavers, and their garments are very personal. So they weave each garment, and they weave like pictures of alpacas in them and a
Oh
picture of
yeah,
a
yeah.
condor. And now they're going to weave Machu Picchu into it because it's their experience. They weave their experiences
Oh,
into their clothing. And they
that's cool.
wear those hats. They're crazy hats. They look like a bowl. And actually they stuff things up in that bowl. That,
Okay, that's
like
cool.
we have purses. No, they put things up in their hat.
That's
So
cool.
their chin straps are very wide and they're beaded. And they are all beaded with animals and icons and mountain shape.
Wow. 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 I want to go. I mean, in the music, did you hear any local music when you were there? Because I know like the
Yes.
panpipes and all of that.
Oh, the panpipes. Yes, we did several places.
Oh man, I love that music. There is something spiritual with it. Did you
Yeah,
feel like a vibe of spirituality
I
while you were
did,
there?
especially up at Machu Picchu. Surprisingly, they have changed your in timed entry so it doesn't get so crowded because in years past it has
Mm,
been overcrowded. And people also have complained that oftentimes it's completely socked in with fog and clouds. But
mm,
look behind you. That was our day. It was the most glorious, beautiful day.
wow.
So
Yeah.
just
That
being there with the wind going through and seeing what they built all those years ago, it was spiritual. You just felt
yeah,
it.
that's amazing. I love it when you go to places like this, and travel writers go out and bring back these stories that are not just like, and then when you have these true experiences that are transformative, you
Yes.
know? Yeah, and it
Yes,
seems like this is a kinder way of traveling when you're connected with the community base. I think this is something we're all trying to become better stewards of the communities that we visit, right?
right. Like on Lake Titicaca, we had our home visit, but then the Lake Titicaca is known for the Ural Islands, but Intrepid doesn't go there anymore because it's overpopulated. Tourism,
Oh,
people selling stuff that they didn't even make.
oh,
You can barely move. So we went to a completely different place where Intrepid can partner with them and help their lives be better. So that's what I like, traveling and feeling good about it. You know,
yes,
in print.
yes. When you're giving something back and you're connecting too, so that you have this
Yes,
shared experience of
yes.
people,
Well,
you
I have
know.
another story. So I was
Yeah.
at the Sacred Valley art thing with the ladies, and of all things, I'm going to have a grandchild, and it was due in a month. Well, crazy enough, the baby came early, and who ever thought of it? I never dreamed that as a grandma I wouldn't be right there, but I was in Peru up in the mountains. So I saw the baby was born at 9:30 and we were there with the ladies. Well, at the end, the ladies all put out their wares. And this is where individually, one by one, they can support their families.
Mm.
It's not collective. They weave their own garments and their own scarves and whatnot. So I went around from one to one. I bought lots from people. And there at the very end, this mama, we call them, looked at me and she held up a baby bonnet.
Ooh.
And my baby,
And she didn't know.
no, she didn't know. And my grandson was 1 hour old. So it's beautiful. So I have a
That's
picture of
little
her
deep.
and I
That's deep.
together. I took it home. I cried.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
took it home and put it on his little head.
Don't, no crying.
So
Don't,
I,
I'll do an ugly face.
yeah. So it was very special. And she
That's
was,
wild. They
yeah.
do know though.
There was not a baby bonnet in the whole place. And this was a perfect little baby bonnet she made for me.
And she didn't know, but she
No,
knew.
no. I think
That's wild. That's
meant to
good
be.
juju though, isn't it?
Yes.
That's good juju. That
So
is
his
really
name,
good
so
juju.
his name is Max.
Cool.
And Max was born when I'll never forget Max's birthday when where I was up in the islands of Peru.
That's wild, man. See, that's that transformative part where when you just you can't beat that, you know. That's amazing. So you've got to say that you had a real experience with an
I
S
did.
on the end, plural.
I did.
Wow, wow. So this is so cool. We're recording this now, and what in 48 hours you're back on a plane, and where are you going?
Now I will be going to Slovenia. Slovenia is in
Oh,
Central Europe. It is the most beautiful green place, and I'll be hiking and biking and walking and canoeing and
oh,
doing all
sounds nice
manner.
and healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it is a beautiful. I've been to Slovenia, but I'm so happy that I'm going back.
I wonder what the food is going to be like because it seems like you could eat a lot of cheese, but I don't have no clue. I have
They have a
no
lot of
clue.
wine. They make wine there, and that's always a good thing.
That is always important, and we don't care what time.
Yeah. And
And never ask what's in my cup.
you've seen pictures maybe of Lake Bled. It's just
Hmm.
picture an alpine lake with this island in the middle and a beautiful castle in the middle of it. Well, we'll be going there. And there they make this Lake Bled cake. It's a special cream cake that's cream in the middle and yellow and it's very you can't even make it outside of Lake Bled area. So that's what they're known
Wow.
for. Wine and Lake Bled cake.
Wow. Well, speaking of cake, everyone on June 7th, you can listen to Sharon and I on our big daily blend show, and it'll also be on our Eat, Drink, Be Merry show, where we're talking about donuts because it's donut day. Remember we did that
Oh,
recording a
yeah.
while back, And it was when you were in Poland. You'd just come
Yes.
back from Poland, and we were talking about their famous donuts and America's donuts. So everyone's, I think it's June 7th. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. But anyway, when it's National Donut Day, tune into Big Blend Radio. That's, the reality of it. So always fun. I love hearing your adventures. I know our audiences do too. So safe travels. Have fun.
Thank
And
you.
enjoy that cake. I want pictures of the cake.
I
You know, I have
will.
a thing about cake.
I'd bring you a piece if I could.
Oh man, I want cake. Now I want cake. It's
Yeah.
dangerous. Thanks so much, Sharon. Everyone, again, the links in the show notes for Sharon's website, Sharon K. Kurtz, and that's 2Ks in there, SharonKKurtz.com. Also, go to nationalparktraveling.com and you'll see her article on Peru there. So it's all in the show notes. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Wonder the World with Sharon podcast. You can keep up with Sharon's adventures at SharonKKurtz.com. Follow Big Blend Radio at BigBlendRadio.com. Happy travels.